some players are difficult for me to watch because they require a lot of time. You know, there's a lot of time scanning through a lot of game tape, hoping to find something that's worthwhile pointing out. And Chuck Clark is easy. Chuck Clark is easy to watch, and Chuck is fun to watch. Um, if you watch any series, just about any series, you'll see Chuck doing something interesting, making calls, lining the defense up. He responds to resets and to audibles. I did a video on him early, I think in his rookie season. Could have been even in preseason, where he was running downfield covering a kickoff. And I was just struck by the fact that it was him kind of pointing out to guys that had been around. I think it was Tyus Bowser, as he ran, where they needed to be, or where he needed to be, or what lane he needed to be in. And he was waving his arms, pointing this out as he was running downfield. Chuck's just fun to watch, man. He just does so much on the field. They'll line him up in quarter field coverage, zone coverage, single high, half field coverage. They'll line him up at strong safety in a traditional sense. In that role, you know, he's real good coming down to the line of scrimmage, taking on blocks. In that role, he covers tight ends in man coverage. He doesn't leave the field. He's essential, I think, to the defense. He's essential, and he's a chess piece part of this defense. He's a dime backer, or plays dime backer for the Ravens. Plays will in traditional 3-4 looks. Sometimes he's the Ravens' only sort of, if you want to call it, inside linebacker on the field. So he's someone that's invaluable to them. Chuck's football intelligence is really high. He gets guys lined up. You see him here as the will in a 3-4, a weak side linebacker in a 3-4, recognizing this back leaking out to the flat and making a call to Humphrey. You see him get into a back pedal here. It's great how the two of them switch this off, and Humphrey's going to take the flat. He's going to take Hopkins. You see him kind of looking to jump this route. By the time he comes off these two reads, there's pressure in the quarterback space. But just a nice call, and we're gonna spend this video, among other things, just pointing out how smart Chuck is and pointing out how he's used in multiple ways. You can see him stay with that route. Hopkins goes behind him. See him make sure he stays under that. See him turn around, find out what's going on behind him in terms of the deep safety. He's still under that route, still under that route. Here we see him again as a inside linebacker in what we would kind of traditionally call our base, a 3-4. You see him getting a cornerback lined up here, talking to Jimmy Smith. And you're going to see him come downhill, fill like a linebacker, and stop the back. Ravens are in dime here, one true linebacker, and Chuck is that dime backer. Watch him make the calls here. Brady's going to make a call or an audible, it looks like, from the line, calls that linebacker in, that receiver in. As soon as the running back gets out towards the flat, Chuck's going to take him in man. Watch him get guys lined up right there with Carr. Watch him call Jimmy in. See that right there? Taking the slot. He goes out wide. As a side note, Jimmy's going to really do a good job punching this receiver, if you watch here, right off the line. Look at that. But just a good idea about how smart Chuck is and how versatile he is and how he's making calls for this football team. I think the linebacker that we bring in, I think how we are using Chuck will play a big part in deciding what sort of linebacker to bring in. Again, in that hybrid role, they ask him to pick up on motions and stay with tight ends and backs out of the backfield in man coverage. You see him do that here, kind of follow that tight end across the formation and stick him to the flat. You could call this 3-3 nickel or 3-2 dime. It really doesn't matter. It's just that idea of Chuck being the only inside linebacker type on the field. Really isolated here on the back, out of the backfield. Lots and lots of space. You get four verticals, and he does a good job walling the inside route. Excuse me, and making an open field tackle on the running back out of the backfield. Another case of Chuck being the sole inside linebacker, if you will. This is a dime package with 0 linebackers on the field outside of Chuck. You see him being used to blitz the quarterback here, being forceful in his take on of the running back. You can see he delivers a nice jolt and frees himself from the back there. Here we see Chuck in a more traditional down or box or strong safety role. Reads the give, real forceful, comes downhill, gets in that gap, takes on this pulling tackle together with the play side backer. He actually beats him to the hole, and then the weak side backer comes and cleans up. Watch that again. Just another indicator here of Chuck's savvy. He kind of is able to effectively reroute 2 receivers, and then as the play goes on, he chases the quarterback. But that reroute underneath is interesting to me. First thing he does is get hands on 12, getting upfield. You can see he's got the back out of the backfield. That's where his attention is. Now watch what happens on this. This is really a pick route to get Marlon hung up. But watch what he does to 83 as he cuts across his face. Hangs him up just a little bit. You see that? Realizing that Marlon's kind of hung up and has to get over him. Super, super smart. Just that I don't know, split second he buys Marlon. And that wherewithal to get the initial hit as well, or reroute as well. They'll also line Chuck up deep here as the 1 high. Last line of defense here if he gets through. Just another indicator of how versatile is, how they trust him up and down the field. I have to say that it hurts my head a little bit to think about all the possibilities for this team in coverage in the secondary with Jimmy, Marcus, Marlon not having to play the slot, or nickel with Tavon coming back with Chuck. And I also think it's worth considering how having Chuck impacts the particular linebacker that the Ravens take. I'm partial to Akeem Davis Gaither for us. Patrick Queen is very interesting as well, as someone you could leave on the field the whole time. I have a thought that the Ravens are thinking about a different backer, but that's for a different video.